Welcome to Birdseeds. This is Joe Bird, and as always, thank you so much for being here. Sorry that I missed last week. I was under the weather, feeling much better now, so glad to be on the right side of that. I'm here for sure. A lot of stuff going around the schools, and yeah, it is what it is. So I gave myself a break and let myself rest, and I'm back. So the prior episode, I talked about how I've moved on from Remax. I'm at Red Cedar Real Estate. So far, that's going great. Transition change is always a challenge, but really happy with the decision so far. Everything's been going great as far as the transition goes. So super pumped and excited. Can't wait to continue to share more with you about all of that. And my startup VPO Homes is doing well. So getting really good feedback from other agents on that. So trying to just spread the message before the spring market starts. So that's going really well, putting together marketing plans and things like that. So all in all, great motion, great movement. Feels great to be in action and not just be in the theoretical stage. So I'm going to continue to lean into that and the movement here. Today's episode, I'm going to read a paragraph, or I guess a paragraph would be the right word, from a book I'm currently reading. And I've mentioned this book before, and I'm reading it very slow, and I'm just it's really hitting home really, really, really well. And it's a hiccup that I have, that I feel like I have to read it perfectly because it's so impactful and so meaningful to me that I need to be like in the right mindset, focusing on the book in order to give it its justice, essentially. And something I'm working on. I can always go back and reread it. I can always go back a paragraph or two. So I got myself stuck because I read I guess probably 2 chapters, and I rushed through it. I knew there was a lot of really good meat there, and I'm like, I don't know what I should do. And I kind of just got myself stuck in reading. And finally I was like, it's 2 chapters. Just go backwards and read those 2 chapters over again. And I did, and that's great. So, but I'm going to read this one excerpt that really kind of hit home to me. It's just sort of the overarching theme that I'm seeing in things that are meaningful to me right now of being present. Stop worrying about yourself in the task, worry about the task at hand. So I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But this is a book recommended by a good friend, Scott Nathan. He's been a guest on the podcast before. So he actually gave me this book, The Second Mountain by David Brooks. Really, really, really good book. I'll wind up doing a full review. I might even have him on again to talk about the book because it's that meaningful. The very short synopsis is it's talking about how in your first mountain, it's all about you. It's about, being the best of your career, gaining wealth, whatever it is. But it's very personal. It's about your growth. And at some point, you kind of realize that doesn't have as much meaning as you thought it would. And you go through the second mountain. The second mountain is your selfless mountain. It is the making the world a better place mountain. And it's really hitting home to like where I'm at in my journey, in my career. And like, I've done very well. Now I want to do it better. I want to do it my way, and I want to help more people. So this is on page 104 in the vocation chapter of this book. I'm just going to read this, and then we'll talk about it. By thrusting us face to face with excellence, mentors also induce certain humility. They teach us how to humbly submit to the task. The natural tendency is to put oneself at the center of any activity, to ask, how am I doing? That question is fine to ask once, but it becomes paralyzing if you ask it all the time. A pitcher who is thinking about how he is pitching cannot pitch well. His focus is on self and not the task. In any hard discipline, whether it be gardening, structural engineering, or Russian, the philosopher and motorcycle mechanic Matthew Crawford writes, one submits to things that have their own intractable ways. So really what I take out of that is, and I do this music, mixing music and things like that. It's like, I worry about how I'm doing with mixing the music. Or construction, I worry about how I'm doing in the construction. Or business planning, I'm worrying about how I'm doing in the business planning. And that's the focus. But if we shift that focus, and we shift that focus to, how does this mix sound? Not how am I doing mixing the song? How does this mix sound? How's the construction working out? Is it being built well? Is it safe? Is it stable? Does it look good? Business plan. Not how am I doing planning this business? Is this going to be a successful plan? Is this the best plan it can be? Am I overlooking anything? And it's just, you can take that, and I do take that to another step to say it's about being present. The worry about how I'm doing in it isn't worrying about in the moment. It's worrying about the anxiety of what other people are assuming in the future. What's the outcome going to be, and how's that going to matter to my self-worth, right? So then I'm not 100% because I'm worrying about that. And it really does come from taking it out of yourself. If you're worried about how you are doing something, it is most likely worrying about how others are perceiving you doing it. And that's not helpful. Sure, you need to have some awareness of the way you're perceived, and that there are certainly places and times for that. But generally speaking, it's not healthy. It's way healthier to say, I did the best I could do, and I'm really proud of how this sounds or how this turned out. That's it. Take your feedback, get better, but you're going to be able to then take the feedback and get better because it's not about you, it's about the thing, right? When it's about, hey, I mixed this song this way, I'm really proud of it. Please make me feel that I'm worthy and tell me it's good, right? Sure, great. But if somebody says, yeah, but that kick drum was too loud or whatever, instead of saying, you know what, you're right, I didn't hear it that way, but now that I'm removed from it and I go back, I can hear that and you were spot on, and now I just made the mix even better. When it's worrying about how I did mixing the song, that comment is an attack on me. It's not, but that's the way I perceive it. Subconsciously, that's the way I perceive it because I'm worrying about how other people are viewing me in that moment and in that task. So that's what I really took out of that excerpt. And again, it's about being present. It's about enjoying the process. You know, the process is the outcome. Don't worry about the end. Worry about the now, and stop worrying about what other people view of you and think of you. Worry about what you think of yourself and what you think of the task at hand. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to get more into this book, like I said, as I continue to read it slowly. But really, really great book. I would encourage you to read it. And we'll do another episode. Like I said, I'll probably get Scott. Scott, if you're listening, would like to have you back on whenever I finish reading this book, probably next year. Funny joke because it's only a couple weeks away. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. There will not be an episode next week with the holidays. We'll see you here at the end of December, beginning of January. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.